Hi everyone, I'm Terry, and this is the Yarnjoy podcast, episode number 44. Welcome. I have just a couple of finished objects today, but I also have quite a few whips. So let's get started. If you've been following my videos, last summer, I guess, I was making some little character hats for a donation to one of the local area hospitals NICU unit for to put on the babies born during the Halloween season. Well, I talked to the lady that I donated the hats to, who then took them to the hospital, and we were talking back and forth, and we were thinking we could do something for 4th of July time of year, because I originally had thought, well, the Christmas hats would be cute, like Christmas hats, elf hats, that would be cute to put on the little babies. But she said there was another lady in a group that was doing that for Christmas, and so we decided that we would do some 4th of July themed things, because nobody was doing that holiday. So I made this little Preemie beanie, just in the red, white, and blue colors. And I just went down several sizes. I think it was a newborn, just a basic newborn beanie hat made with double crochets, and I just went down a few hook sizes to make it preemie sized. Okay, so that's finished, and the only other finished objects that I have is the next 6 squares in my 365 Days of Granny Square project. This is, of course, following the Yarn Utopia's videos, which is Nadia here on YouTube, tutorial for the 365 Days of Granny Squares that she did in 2016, I believe. So last week we left off on number 145. Had to check my notes. So this week I have 146 right there. And then I have, and this one, I just want to say that she said in the beginning of her video that if you follow this one, which is the number 146, it's going to turn out quite a bit bigger than the 6-inch square goal, I guess, that I was working towards. So what I did for this one, since I knew it was going to turn out so much larger, I went down to I believe I used a G hook to get this size, because I wanted to make sure that it was going to be similar sizes to all my other ones. So anyway, this is 146, and then this is 147. Now for the remaining of these, I went up to my regular J hook that I've been using. This is 148 right here, 149. And then I was excited to do this one because it's 150. And then I have 151. This one was fun to do. Okay, so that are my finished objects, but I do have quite a few works in progress that I was working on this week. So, with my 365 Days of Granny Squares, as you know, as I'm doing a set of them, then the next week I add them with my join as you go method that I like to do into blankets. And so this blanket I now added last week's square on. Got upside down again. Okay, so here you go. I have now got 4 rows of 6 rows across. So it's getting quite large. My aim is to do 6 squares by 6 squares. So I will put the ones I just showed you onto this blanket, and that will make it 5 rows. And then I will have another 6 squares next week that I'll do, in the following week I'll put those on. And then that should be complete then. Okay, so that is works in progress number 1. And then works in progress number 2 is the Panels and Squares blanket by Lion Brand that I showed you last week that I was working on. And this is going to be for a wedding shower gift. Okay, so last week I had these outer little small squares done. And as you see, I had to go around the whole entire square. It's getting so large I can't get it in the camera. There you go. I had to go around this whole outer square right there several rounds, and then I start working just on one end. As you see, this part, these two colors, these two kind of greenish colors, I added those on. That's what I'm working on now. And see, this is where my string is here. So I have a few more rows to go, and it's just this strip here. Okay, and then I have a few more rows to go to finish that section, and then when I do that, then I will turn it in the very opposite end of the square, which is the one down here at the bottom. I will add these two exact bars, I guess you'd say, panels. Okay, and then after that, see, it leaves a little square opening there, just like it did right here, and I will have to make 4 more of these squares that I'll add to the corners. And I will show you what it looks like right there. So it is coming along. I'll zoom it up just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so it's coming along. So I'm enjoying working on it. It's very soft. I'm using Lion brand Heartland yarn. In fact, it is the yarn in the exact colors that they call for in the pattern, and I really like it. I think it's going to be a nice, it's soft, but it's plush, I guess. It's a little thicker type yarn than just a regular, although it is the number 4 worsted. Okay, so there is that works in progress. The next works in progress is a cowl that I've been participating in, and this is by Sarah Satch here on YouTube. And the last Monday of each month, she releases another section because of this blanket. It is a what she names it the Harmony Sample Blanket, I think. And so each month, the last Monday of each month for this whole entire year, she will release a stitch pattern that we will add to this blanket. And so in January, she added down here the granny stitch, and then February's was this V stitch right there. And so this top section right here, I'll give you a close up, is a cross stitch. Okay, so I did that all the way across, and so that's my March installment of this blanket. And so now I will not be working on this until the end of April, the very last Monday of April. She will give me the release the 4th section of this blanket. Anyway, it's fun. I've been enjoying it. I'm just using scraps out of my scrap basket, and I'm trying to every once in a while bring up one of the colors that I used at the bottom at the top, you know, like repeating it. It's not in a sequence, but I do try to repeat one of the colors ever so often, trying to tie it together. So okay, so there's that. It's like all about the blanket, seems like, here lately. Let's see, what else? Okay, and so the next one, no, this one's not a blanket. This one is the summer shawl that I showed you last week. This is actually going to be a Christmas present, so I'm trying to get a jump on making Christmas presents. This one is called the Summer Shawl, and there is a tutorial. It is by Nadia of Yarn Utopia, and she does have a tutorial on how to do this. Plus, on her website, she does have the written instructions. And here it is. I've made some progress. I think I got maybe 2 more repeats done. I'll put it up here so then you can kind of see the colors. It's very pretty. It's a jewel tone colorway. I don't know that, it's called Raindrop, and the yarn that I'm using is actually a Mary Maxim yarn, and it's called Prism right there. And the colorway, like I said, is Raindrop. Very pretty. It's got really pretty jewel tone colors to it. Okay, so there's that one. Very easy shawl. It has repeats. You know, the tutorial, she shows you what to do, and then after you get to like row 8 or something like that, then you go back and you just keep repeating rows 3 to 8 for the pattern repeat. And then you just do it as big as you want, and then she'll tell you how to end it off. So working on that. And let's see what else. Oh, also with the Preemie hats, let me just show you this one. I started another 4th of July themed hat, and I haven't finished it yet. That's as far as I've gotten. I've got the ribbing here in the blue, and then I did the red and white stripes, and then now I'm just beginning to do some decreases to get it, to close it off at the top. It's very cute. It's a YouTube tutorial that I'm also following for this one, and I will show you a picture of the hat. It's made by maggiescrochet.com is the pattern, and this is what the hat looks like right there. I believe she has multiple sizes for the hat. I thought it was so cute with the little white stars that you stitch, you crochet and then you stitch onto the brim of the hat. And so I'm following a tutorial that somebody made, can't remember, I think Creative Crochet, I believe, which I believe is Maggie's website. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I will have links of all this in the description box below. But anyway, the one I'm following here was the Preemie, not Preemie, the 0 to 3 month size, and so that's what stitches I'm using, but I'm trying to make it for more preemie babies. And so what I did is, instead of using, I believe it called for an H hook, I'm using an F hook, so trying to go down in size, and then when I make this pattern again, I will maybe play around with the size a little bit, like maybe use double crochet, no, half double crochets maybe instead of doubles, or lessen my stitch count around. That's what I was going to say. So right now this starts out with well, you do the brim first this way, and then you start going around, and it ends up being like 44 stitches around, and so I may decrease that some so then I can make it even smaller for even smaller preemies. Okay, so and then the stars, she uses an F hook, I think, in worsted weight for the stars, and what I may do to get them to fit this little bitty brim here is I'll either use baby yarn and a whole lot smaller hook than the F, maybe a D or not sure. And if that's too small, I mean, that's still too large using baby yarn in the white, because this is worsted. I have some crochet thread, crochet cotton thread, like to do for doilies, and I may try doing that and using the same pattern to try to get the stars even smaller to fit on the brim. So I've got different options there, but I will let you know what I do for that, how it ends up. Okay, so the only other works in progress is something that I'll just work on occasionally, you know, but just here and there. This is actually a granny square blanket that I started with just scraps, and I used this for the tutorial that I made last week. I really hope that you check that tutorial out. It's my very first tutorial, and I think it turned out pretty well. My husband helped me so much trying to figure out how to edit it, and I did release 2 versions of it, left-handed version, and then I was able to, or he did it. He was able to, or we figured out how to flip it, mirror flipped it, or whatever you call it, to make it a right-handed version as well. So I did release 2 versions, and this is the blanket that I did, or not blanket, but the pieces that I did. The tutorial was on showing this join as you go method that I like to use, which I will say that it's not my invented method. I believe it's called the flat braid join method, but I was just showing you how I like to do it. So I will continue on, because see, what I did first is I just did some 4-row granny squares with just some little scrap balls that I had, and I've got more that I did up, and so I'll just continue to add to this because it is join as you go, and so it'll eventually be a blanket size or a baby blanket or however long I want to do it, I guess. Okay, so that's all my works in progress. Some of these, like, you know, the Harmony Stitch blanket, I won't have that next week because that's just a once a month thing. And so that's why I guess I had so many works in progress at once. But I think that's really it as far as projects. Now, for upcoming, as you know, I have been, and then I was talking about last week, I believe, that I am also participating in the calendar blanket cowl, not cowl, did it again, cowl, C-A-L, crochet along, that Jada and Stitches is doing, her calendar blanket for 2018, and she releases hers. Now, Sarah Satch releases hers the last Monday of each month, and then Jada and Stitches releases her section for her blanket on the 1st of every month. And so since this Sunday is going to be April the 1st, she will be releasing the next part of her blanket. So next week, one of my works in progress will be the new section on that blanket. So, so that's like a once a month thing. So it's kind of a trade-off. Plus, I have the Christmas character blanket that I'm been hosting with some of my friends here on YouTube that is doing it along with me, and that one is done once a month also. And so next week I will have the Jada and Stitches cowl that I'm doing, and then the following week after that, then I will be working on the April installment of the Christmas character blanket, the next square, which is going to be Santa's sleigh. So I will be gathering the yarn and getting ready for that. It'll be upcoming. Okay, so let's see, and then what else? Oh, I will be making another video this weekend because if you remember watching my Crafty Goals video that was at the very first of the year, I listed different goals that I had for the year that I wanted to do, and one of my goals was that I wanted to make a quarterly video showing my progress on attaining the goals that I have set. And so this is going to be this weekend is the end of March, which is the end of the first quarter of the year. I can't believe it already, as we've already gone through 3 months. So I will be making an extra little video not recapping, but just kind of looking at it again, in other words, of the goals that I set and then see how I've done on it. And that way maybe people watching will think about their own goals that they set. And I know that there was several people that did do a Crafty Goals video at the beginning of the year, and maybe they will want to do an update to see how they're doing, or at least it'll help them think about looking at the goals that they set and say, oh yeah, I remember I was wanting to do whatever, so-and-so, whatever. And so maybe it'll help us all kind of look at, again, I guess you'd say, the goals that we set. Anyway, so I'm going to be working on that, and that one will be released in a few days also as well. Okay, and the only other thing is I just want to tell you that I did take 5 blankets. It was 2 of my first 365 granny square blankets that I put together. I had 2 of those. I had another scrap blanket that I did. I completed it and did it even before I started making videos, but I think I showed it very early on last year that I had done it. Well, I had that one. I had a baby blanket, which was the hexagon baby blanket that I made, or not hexagon, it was an octagon blanket that I made, so I had that one. And what else? Now can't remember, but there was 5. There was 4 like lap blanket size blankets, all scrap square. Oh, I know. It was the Moroccan window square blanket that I did very early on when I was started making YouTube videos. That's what it was. So there was 5 blankets counting the baby blanket. Anyway, I took it to my local yarn shop that I have here in my city, and they are a drop-off place for the Project Linus program to donate blankets to children from anywhere from babies up to 18 years old that are in the hospital. And so I was able to go and donate those 5 blankets for that cause. And I met the lady working there, and her name is Liz. Hi, Liz, if you actually find my videos. But anyway, had a nice visit with her, and she said they also take 6-inch squares, crocheted or knitted squares that they can take as donations, and what they do is a group of them sew the squares together, and then they donate them to veterans, or one of the veterans. We have like 2 veterans hospitals, I think, yes, here. And so I probably will try to do that too, you know. I think that's a great cause as well. So that's something that I can think about keeping fresh in my mind to remember to do also. And while I was there, she gave me a sack of yarn that somebody had donated, because she said occasionally people will come in and donate yarn to be used for charity items, the donations that they make. Or they collect there. And so she gave me about 5 or 6 skeins of yarn. Some of them are open skeins, they're not full skeins, but I told her that, yeah, sure, I'd take them and I would turn them into something and get them back to them as a donation. So anyway, that's what I did. And let's see, I think that's it. I was looking at my notes here. Thank you so much to my subscribers. My subscription number just keeps heading upwards, and I'm real excited about that. And then also, thank you for my subscribers that have been with me from the beginning. Thanks for hanging in there with me. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I do make weekly videos. At the moment, I make weekly videos to show you my projects and the progress that I make on these projects from one week to the next. And I would also, I may make more tutorials in the future. We'll see what the future holds, I guess. But thank you so much to everybody that's commenting and saying such nice things about my projects. I'm enjoying making so many friends on here. I do have a Facebook group. If you don't know already, I have a Facebook group, and it's just called Yarnjoy Podcast on Facebook, and it is for people either participating in the Christmas character blanket, square blanket, cowl that I'm doing, but also anybody that just wants to come on and post the projects and things that they are doing, they're crocheting or knitting, and to show me and us, other people in the group, what they're doing on their projects. I would love to see what you're working on. So, guess that's it. Have a great weekend, and be looking for my Crafty Goals update video, which will be out in a few days. So have a great week, everybody, and have a wonderful Easter coming up. Talk to you later. Bye.